Hi everybody, Larry Graves here. Welcome to the latest Led Zeppelin album review. Now, the upcoming videos for this series I can't do until I could do them, but I'm going to wait until I get the remastered versions of Presence and In Through the Outdoor and Coda. So this will be the final video until I get those reissues, remasters. And I'm doing a review, song by song, on the soundtrack to the film, The Song Remains the Same. Now I have the newer version which has the added songs, but I want to do the original album as it was, which I actually, overall, I do appreciate the extra songs. Some of them are great, and I think they've used different tracks on some of these than on the original. I could be wrong though, because I've been wrong once before. So let's go track by track. First of all, let me say, when I first heard this album, I was really kind of in shock. I thought it was kind of bad almost, and really boring, especially the 27 or 28 minute song, Dazed and Confused. I was quite dazed and confused by the end of it. And then I went to the movies with some friends. Yes, I had friends back then. And we watched, besides that porno movie, we watched The Song Remains the Same. And I've never been so bored in my life sitting through a movie. Plus, you have to remember, it wasn't stereo sound or anything. The sound itself wasn't that great. And so it was pretty... my friends didn't really say anything bad about it, but I think we were all kind of disappointed and bored with it. Most of it. But I will say this. Once I started playing the original album over and over, which you usually do when you don't care for an album that much and you like the band, you gotta, give it a chance. I really like the album. I wouldn't say it's the greatest, not their greatest live performances, but it's pretty damn good. Rock and roll. I've mentioned this before, but this version is actually way better than the studio version in my opinion, because once you've played the live version on here a few times, and then you go back to the studio version sounds slower and just not as good. But, of course, they're both great tracks. The studio version is a great track, so I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying there's quite a difference. Lots more energy in the live track. Once again, with Celebration Day, the Celebration Day song on Led Zeppelin 3 is excellent. I love it. But I love it even more on this. It really rocks. So for rock and roll, I'd give it a 10. Celebration Day, I'd give it a 10. I'm skipping the songs. They have Black Dog on here, Over the Hills and Far Away, Misty Mountain Hop, Since I've Been Loving You. Excuse me. No Quarter. Now I believe the version on this is not the same version as on the original. And what I love about the original live version on the Song Remains the Same is the damn guitar solo is so awesome. I love it. And I'm not a big fan of No Quarter, but I like the live version a lot more. So I would give that, I'd actually give that like a 9 out of 10, because even Robert Plant's vocals are better on this, I believe. I haven't played this in a while, but I'm going back from my memory. The song remains the same. Once again, the vocals, they're not sped up like they are on the studio version. It's a pretty good live version of the song. And I would give it an 8 out of 10. And the Rain song, once again, not one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs, but it's still a very nice track. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 for the live version. Then they have on this the Ocean, which wasn't on the original. Now, Dazed and Confused. I kept playing the song, and to the point where I actually enjoyed parts of it. I really enjoyed parts of it. Now the violin bit that kind of drags on, it's pretty cool and kind of freaky and all that, but it's not something I would want to play a lot. I've had some wine, okay? But there's some really heavy, interesting parts to it. But it does still, it's kind of, nothing compares to the studio version, right? But I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Stairway to Heaven. Does anybody remember Laughter? You always kind of remember that line, even listening back to the studio version after listening to the live version. And they did a really good job on it. I would give it, I'm so sick of the song though, but it's a 10 out of 10. It's a very good live version of Stairway to Heaven. Moby Dick, it's great to watch on the film, John Bonham's drum solo, but not as much fun to listen to. But it's still interesting, I guess. I would give it a 7 out of 10. And they have Heartbreaker, which wasn't on the original, and it ends with Whole Lotta Love. And I believe the version on this is kind of edited, and I don't think it's as long. I haven't heard the new version in a while. But I liked the original version, the original live version on this. And they do a little, I believe they did a little 50s music and everything, and just trying to remember back. Yeah, Shake One Time for Elvis. Yeah, it was cool. I would give it a 9 out of 10. So I would love your thoughts on the soundtrack too. The song remains the same, and you can even talk about the newer version of this. I just wanted to talk about the original vinyl version of this. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.